Hey everyone, welcome back to our beginner fly tying series. I'm Tony, and this is Terrible Ties with Tony. We've covered the essential tools and the super basic materials you need. Now it's time to put some thread to hooks. In this video, we're going to walk through the basics step by step. How to get your hook in the vise, add beads, tie a jam knot, build a solid thread base, and end with a whip finish. Thank you so much for sticking with the series. If you're just joining us, make sure to check out the previous videos on tools and materials, or jump right in here if you have those bases covered. Let's go. Adding a bead. Optional but very common. If your pattern calls for a bead, slide it onto the hook now while the hook is pointing towards you. This gets tricky with small hooks. One good way I've seen is pinching the hook in the vise with the hook up so you can drop a bead onto the hook, like this. Or you can use a pin or pliers to get the bead on there if you have big clumsy hands like I do. Also make sure your beads are positioned with the smaller hole towards the eye of the hook. Securing the hook in the vise. Now, take your hook and place it in the jaws of the vise. The hook shank should be horizontal and the point should protrude slightly past the end of the jaws, like this. The tension you place on the hook will take a little experimenting. You want it tight enough for the hook to be secure, but not over tightened. That could cause wear on your vise jaws. Getting your thread on the bobbin. There's a couple ways to do this. If you want to do it the super annoying way, you can unroll some thread and put it in the back of the bobbin here and leave some slack and suck some air from the other end to pull it through. I suggest spending a couple dollars on one of these bobbin threaders. Just slide it through like this, run your thread through it, pull back like this, then place your spool in the bobbin here. You can adjust your thread tension by bending these arms in and out very slightly. Tension is kind of a feel thing you have to get used to. Without enough tension, your thread will unwind when you don't want it to or be difficult to get nice and tight on the hook. With too much tension, you might snap the thread or find it difficult to wrap smoothly. Find somewhere right in the middle. Getting your thread base started with a jam knot. Now that your bobbin is ready, hold the end of the thread against the hook shank with your left hand, or right hand if you're left-handed. Make a few tight wraps forward towards your hook eye while keeping tension on the thread with your left hand. Stop here and continue to make tight wraps back towards the bend of the hook. When you've made a few wraps over the thread in your left hand, you can stop, let your bobbin hang, take your tying scissors, and trim the loose end. Your thread should be good and secure to the hook now. Keep in mind where you start and finish this knot will depend on the pattern you are tying. It might be up against the bead or hook eye, or it might be further back down the hook. Building a thread base. Now we're going to lay down a smooth, even layer of thread along the hook shank. This gives you something to tie materials onto and keeps the fly neat. Wrap the thread evenly back toward the bend of the hook, then forward again toward the eye. Keep your wraps side by side without overlapping too much or leaving big gaps. A good thread base usually runs from just behind the eye to about 2/3 of the way down the shank, depending on the pattern. Getting your jam knot in place and practicing getting a thread base down is excellent practice. If you aren't happy with how it's going up to this point, you can simply stop and unwind your wraps and start again. The whip finish. When you're ready to finish your fly, or just practicing, it's time for the whip finish. I'll quickly demonstrate this here to show you how this creates a finishing knot on your flies, but our next video will cover all the ways to finish your fly in more detail. Make sure to tune into that one. Practice these steps a bunch of times and you'll have a solid jumping off point when you start adding materials. Grab a hook and get after it. It's easy enough to snip your thread off and keep trying on the same hook until you are comfortable. Those are the true basics: hook and vise, bead if needed, jam knot, thread base, and whip finish. Master these and you're ready to start tying actual flies with me in the rest of this series. That's it for today. Next time we'll start tying our very first real fly together. Something super simple and effective. Thank you again for watching. Drop a comment and let me know which part felt the trickiest for you, how your first attempts went, what fly you want to tie together first. I have some ideas, but I'd like to hear from all of you. If you haven't already, like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Tight lines until next time. Now go catch some fish and let us know what you got them with.